Hey everyone, this is Bean. Welcome back to EarthBound Beginnings. Last time we entered the City Zoo Superintendent's office, and what are we going to find in there? Luckily, we're going to find some very easy enemies, some rats and some flies, and that's all we're going to run into. Thank goodness too, because as you may recall, I ended the last video with only 4 psychic points left. In other words, I can only cast one more psychic move. I don't have any way of healing my psychic points on the fly just yet. So, I'm gonna have to spend that very wisely, and luckily I don't have to spend that on any of these chumps, on any of these chumpy flies or rats. Not only that, but in this room I'm gonna find a life up cream. So now I don't have to spend those psychic points on healing. What am I gonna spend those psychic points on? Well, guess what? You're about to find out. Because in this room is a little something I like to call a boss fight. It is the Starman Jr. The Starman is one of the most iconic EarthBound enemies. Actually appears on the box art for EarthBound for the Super Nintendo. So I'm going to spend the rest of my psychic points on some defense up. Beef up my defenses. Hopefully make this battle last a little longer. You can see I'm already kind of at the edge of my rope here. The end of my rope. The edge of my seat. I'm going to use the life up cream to heal up. Now watch what happens here. He uses PK Beam Gamma, but the Franklin badge bounces it back. Sure enough. Thank you, Pippi. Bless you, Pippi, for giving me that. PK Beam Alpha, unfortunately, goes through. But still, I owe Pippi one, that's for sure. I'm at the edge of my rope here, don't have much left. Luckily, it's just enough, and I get by the skin of my teeth. And I managed to advance to the next level in the process. Yeah, numbers, they're not going down, they're only going up. Bye. Yeah, that odd sound was driving me insane too, to be honest. Well, with that, the zoo has been cleared. I do one last sweep of this building to see if there's any items I missed. Sure enough, I picked myself up some bread, a loaf of bread. It's a very useful item. That's not a joke, that's actually a very, very useful item. And over here I find a rope. I try talking to the chest first, but that doesn't work. What the heck is rope for, you're probably wondering? Well, it's pretty obvious. It's used to tie the enemy up, of course. I don't know what else you would be using rope for. So we're done with the zoo, but there's one more thing we're gonna have to pick up before we head back to Podunk. And that is this guy. He's the one-of-a-kind singing monkey. That's 3 melodies. We're doing pretty good melody-wise, I think. Still don't know what we need those melodies for, but anyways, back in Podunk, we've got about $1,000-ish to our name now, so we can actually afford to spend the night at this motel instead of making the trek all the way back to Mom and getting some of that roast beef. I know, I miss my mom too, but still, it's worth it to not have to spend all that time going back and forth. The mayor could care less that we've just solved every single problem plaguing his town. Whatever, Mayor, we'll let you get back to your very important business. The receptionist will now share her secret with us. The secret is that we're going to get another party member eventually. And that really would be a heck of a secret if I had no idea how these sorts of games worked. So now that the zoo's been dealt with, we're gonna head east of the zoo. You may recall that there were some cops there blocking off our path. Well, they're not gonna be blocking off our path anymore because we did it. Now the curfew's been lifted. They mentioned telepathy here as a little hint for what's about to come. We haven't had to use telepathy yet, but we're about to use it for the first time. Telepathy is pretty much to read the minds of NPCs or other things. So it's pretty much just like a event trigger, more or less. It has no use in battle or outside of very specific situations. And we got a little new enemy here. The Little Saucer. What's he do? Well, I land a critical hit on him right out the gate, so we'll never know, I'm afraid. Not only that, but I run into not one crow, but 2 crows. You can imagine how that went. We are here in a mysterious cave. A strange melody plays as we creep up north. And we find a pink horn with 2 X's on it. Now's as good a time as any to read our great-grandfather's diary, I guess. So let's check this thing out. A voice is speaking into my mind, eh? Well, I got just the thing for that. Alright, we're here. Where the heck is here? Here is Magicant. So, up until now, the game's been... You could say the game's been odd. I mean, we fought a ghost off in our house. We rescued a girl from a zombie-infested cemetery. We stopped a starman from making an annoying noise that was driving all the animals insane. But I don't know if any of that really holds a candle to forming a psychic link with a horn in a cave and getting warped into this place. This mystical, very strange world. What the heck is Magicant even? Well, that's one of the central mysteries of this game, actually. What is the nature of this place? Why is it here? How did we get here? How do we get out? All that'll come in due time. For now, I'm just going to be spending the rest of the video walking around this hub world and talking to all the NPCs. This guy's going to give us a big bag. Big bag is full of magic herbs. Magic herbs are healing items, so this is a very, very useful item. There's about 30 herbs in there, so that's nice. This guy is the mysterious mimicker. He mimics your dad, and he gives you money, tells you your experience, saves your game, the whole 9 yards. Everything a good dad should do. So yeah, here's where the game goes from kind of quirky, kind of weird, to full on, like, alright, what the heck is going on? Full on surreal. Full on whimsical. And it's really, really good, I think. Everything about this place comes out of left field and is super memorable. You've got your NPCs giving you cryptic advice like this guy, and you've also got a lot of NPCs that have just super charming, super odd dialogue. This lady, the mysterious goods keeper, acts as your inventory storage, same as Minnie does. I'm going to drop off my diary because I'm pretty sure I don't need that anymore. I also drop off an antidote just to clear up some space, basically. All your inventory storage happens in the same place. So if I drop my diary off here, I can go back to Minnie at my place and pick that up there. It all gets deposited in the same place. Try not to worry too hard about the logic of that. Just kind of accept it. Accept that that's how that works. Yeah, this place is super memorable. The music here is very lovely, very beautiful and strange. Now I guess is as good a time as any to talk about the soundtrack to this game. It was composed by 2 people, Keiichi Suzuki and Hirokazu Tanaka. Suzuki in the game music world is mostly known for his work on Mother 1 and 2, or EarthBound Beginnings and EarthBound. And he's got a lot of other work with other bands. In fact, he actually has a band with one of the members of Yellow Magic Orchestra, I found out just from glancing at his Wikipedia page. Didn't know that. I'm going to have to look into that when I've got a moment. The other fellow who worked on it, Tanaka, actually has a very prolific discography, I guess? Discography isn't quite the right word I'm looking for, but a prolific body of work, let's say, on the NES and the Famicom. He's composed music for Metroid, Kid Icarus, Balloon Fight, Duck Hunt, and Super Mario Land, which is for the Game Boy, I guess, but he's quite prolific and very talented. He's got a lot of memorable tunes under his belt, including this whole soundtrack. I really like that NPC dialogue that just happened. Some just real talk from a random dude in Magicant. The soundtrack to this game actually got released on vinyl in Japan. Not just the soundtrack itself. That's not so unusual, right? These days, you know, soundtracks for video games get standalone released, you know, all the time. What was unusual about this is that it actually got a rearrangement. So the songs were reworked, written into new songs produced, and they even had lyrics written for a lot of them. And a lot of those lyrics were actually in English, which is interesting. You may have noticed that I've been superimposing some text over all the melodies that we've been collecting. That text is the lyrics for the 8 melodies, pulled from that album. This guy's, speaking of the 8 melodies, this guy's gonna give us an ocarina. I wonder what it's for. I'm a pretty straight looking dude, I guess. It plays a catchy tune. It does play a catchy tune. A lot of the music in this game is very catchy. Whoa. Spooky dream. Wonder if it means anything. These 3 buildings all sell some rather expensive defensive items. We can't really afford all of them right now, but we can afford some of them, and we'll be buying some of them later. We haven't quite found the magicant's equivalent of the ATM yet. We'll be getting to that next episode. Just leave me some cash, then with the goods you can dash. I like that weird little rhyme there. Gives them a lot of charm. As you can tell, this is where the game goes from being a quirky but kind of grindy RPG to being pretty great and developing its own sort of personality, I guess. Lucky I can get some roast beef here. How'd they even know that that's my favorite dish? How could they have known? Mysteries just keep piling up in Magicant. We know there's a Queen Mary's Castle to the north. We know there's a fountain west of Queen Mary's Castle. Other than that, we don't really know much about the nature of this place, other than it's pretty weird. This lady ordered an ocarina, so I thought maybe playing it would help. Yeah, that's a catchy tune, alright. No denying that. I heard it. She didn't seem to hear it, though. She will say the same thing. Her dialogue stays the same. So that's gonna pretty much wrap it up for this episode. What's gonna happen next episode? We're gonna venture outside of the walls of this little town. And what are we gonna find? All kinds of trouble. We'll see you next time.